Good evening, everyone who is here on the call already, or the webinar. We will get going just right after 5 Pacific time. So 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So just right after that time. So hold on tight. All right, so we will go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's webinar on the importance of 365 recruitment. Really appreciate you all taking the time tonight to be on this webinar and kind of listen to me talk through 365 recruitment and what that looks like and what can look like for your chapters and colonies. Brief introduction, my name's Hayden Rahn. I'm a graduate of the Oregon chapter in 2016. I serve the fraternity staff as the Director of Chapter Development and Growth. So been on staff since I graduated, so just over 4 years. In my current role, I oversee all expansions for the fraternity and just general growth. So that also includes recruitment, which I've been spending a good amount of time over the past few months working with our undergraduate men on recruitment and helping them get prepared for the fall and really the entire year. I also help service am a liaison to 15 different chapters as well as it relates to recruitment. So, and just other chapter development pieces and chapter operations. So like I said, appreciate you all being on the call tonight. This webinar being titled Recruitment Never Ends, the Importance of 365 Recruitment. So we'll spend the next 30, 45 minutes talking through what does 365 recruitment look like? Why is it important? How is it relative to today? And I think probably more so than ever before, 365 recruitment is extremely relevant in kind of the COVID world that we're living in for chapters and colonies. So we will go through all of those pieces tonight. So we'll jump right in. So for all of those who have maybe been on a webinar with me before or have at some level talked with me about recruitment, if you're a VP of recruitment, a chapter president, an advisor, whoever that might be, this is a slide and something I always talk about when it comes to recruitment. And I think it's incredibly important anytime we're talking about the idea of recruitment, but then also specifically when it comes to 365 recruitment, it's this idea that the foundation of recruitment is all about the relationships that were built. And really, it comes down to the idea that people are joining people. When I ask really anyone, whether it's an alumnus or an undergraduate, 99% of the time I ask, why did they join Delta Upsilon? And pretty much 99% of the time, they're telling me it's about the people that they met during recruitment. It's the relationships that they built and kind of them being able to feel like they could be a part of that chapter and see themselves a part of that chapter. And so this is a really, really good opportunity to just set that foundation for this webinar and really talk through and kind of bring everything back to this idea that people are joining people, and really the idea that 365 recruitment is one of the best ways, if not the best ways, to do that and to find, build positive, genuine, authentic relationships over a good period of time. So what is 365 recruitment, right? So we talk about it, or 365 recruitment. You may have also heard the term year-round recruitment. 365, 24/7, there's different terms that can be used for 365 recruitment, but the most common is 365. What 365 recruitment is, really essentially is you are recruiting 365 days of the year. And this idea that there are 1 or 2 weeks in a semester that's the only time that we're doing recruitment is not anywhere close to what 365 recruitment is all about. 365 recruitment is about making sure that you are consistently adding to a names list, that you're consistently outreaching to potential new members, you're building relationships, that you're doing that even after a fall recruitment may officially end, even after a spring recruitment may officially end. 365 recruitment is all about doing that on a consistent basis throughout the entire year. And so that's really what we'll be talking about today, going through what are those main components, what does that look like. I always think about 365 recruitment I compare it to what Division I college coaches do when they recruit, right? They're recruiting throughout the entire year. There may be some restrictions just depending on what the NCAA has put there, just like what an IFC or a university puts on there, but they are recruiting consistently. They are building those relationships consistently. They're not just waiting until the couple weeks before National Signing Day to actually recruit athletes. They're doing that consistently. It's the same thing in sales or really any other time you're thinking about recruitment. They are doing that on a consistent basis. And so really encouraging chapters and colonies, advisors, undergraduates to really understand this concept and how it can be beneficial and why it's important. It's this idea that recruitment's never ending. It's a continuous thing. There might be times where it's a little bit more time consuming, but it's never actually fully stopping. This idea that fall recruitment ends and I have a 2-month break should not be something that our undergraduates should be thinking about. Their mindset should be, all right, I have 2 months to prepare to maybe do some more outreach to other guys. It might not be full-fledged recruitment like we just did for the past 2 weeks in the fall, but we're at least building those relationships, reaching out, adding to a names list, and prepping for the recruitment in the spring, or if it's in the spring, prepping for recruitment in the summer or the fall, whatever that might look like for your chapter or colony. So the importance, I've talked about this a little bit, but there are, I think, 5 key pieces of the importance of 365 recruitment. The first one is it provides consistent relationship building with potential new members. And so what we find a lot of times is chapters and colonies and undergraduates are focused on relationship building, but they're focused on relationship building when it comes to recruitment just during the IFC recruitment time, whether that's formal or informal. It's that 1 week, 2 week, couple days that we're really focused on relationship building with potential new members. What 365 does is it provides consistent relationship building. So this is saying even outside of that time frame, we are getting to know potential new members for the next time recruitment comes around, whether that's in the fall, spring, or summer. This is allowing for us to allow for them to get to know the organization as well. So the important piece to it is it's providing that consistent relationship building with those potential new members. The second one is it keeps the chapter colony focused on adding names lists throughout the entire year. So a lot of times we want to ask, in best practices, we're asking members, who do you know? Who are guys from high school, your hometown, guys you're in different clubs or organizations with, you're in classes with, whoever it might be that would be interested in joining the chapter or colony next time we go through recruitment. And that's great. And typically what happens is that takes place in just a bulk time frame. Right before recruitment starts, the VP of recruitment might shoot a text out to everyone or mention it in a chapter or colony meeting and say, hey, if you know anyone, let me know or add them to this names list. And that's great. And that works, but it's not as effective and beneficial as if you did that consistently with like you would in 365 recruitment. In 365 recruitment, a names list is a huge focus. Because guys will continuously just add to it. Hey, I met this guy in class. I think he'd be good. He maybe expressed a little bit interest in DU. I'm going to add him to the names list that we have. Hey, I met these couple guys while I was playing basketball at the gym. I wanted to, invite them over, and I'm going to add them to the names list so we can keep engaging and outreaching to them. It also doesn't allow for somebody to forget somebody that they met. So a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I met that guy at the gym, or we were in the same class, but I don't remember his name. We talked a little bit. I think he'd be potentially good, but that was like a couple months ago, so I don't actually remember. What this does is it's, hey, I know him, I met him, I can add him to the names list. If he's a good fit, great. If he's not, then we can figure that out while we're recruiting every single day and engaging every single day. But so it allows for that to be a focus throughout the entire year. It allows for the VP of recruitment to say, hey, as you're meeting guys, no matter what time it is, please add them to the names list. And so it's going to be a way to grow that names list even more than the chapter colonies already had the ability to. The third and fourth piece are pretty much the same, but it just depends on who you are. So it allows for the chapter colony to find quality men over a longer period of time rather than through a handful of events and interactions. So I think this one's really important because when I'm talking and working with undergraduates, sometimes they can kind of bring up the concern that, hey, we just didn't have time to meet someone. We only had a few events. There's, tons of guys at the event. We're not too sure. Would he be a good fit? Would he not be a good fit? We really want to make sure that he's a quality individual. And so sometimes it can be difficult to make some of those decisions. And what 365 recruitment allows for you to do is over a longer period of time, you're able to engage with a potential new member, maybe even in a more informal setting, and allow for you to know, is that individual somebody who exemplifies the principles of Delta Upsilon, and is he a quality individual that we should be adding to the chapter? And so it gives the undergraduates in the chapter and colony a lot more to work with than, hey, this guy came out to a couple events, a lot of the guys liked him, he said really good things, we think he'd be a quality individual, but we only had about a week or maybe 5 events to get to know him, rather than, hey, we've had the past couple of months to really get to know him and he really fits in well, and we could see him being a really good member for our chapter colony. The fourth piece is from the potential new member side. So a lot of the times when we're working also and talking with potential new members, and I get this a lot of experience when it comes to expansion, is the potential new members want to better understand, or really as best understand, the fraternity, whether that's the chapter itself and the guys in it, whether it's Delta Upsilon as a whole and the principles and what we stand for and what those expectations are. And so with 365 recruitment is just like the chapter colony having more time to get to know the guy, it allows for the guy or the potential new member to get to know the fraternity over a longer period of time, right? So it's not just, hey, I had dodgeball, Wing Wednesday, and Monday Night Football to get to not only know the guys in Delta Upsilon, but I had most of the fall term, maybe I had the summer, maybe I had a month in the spring leading up to recruitment to really get to know the fraternity, get comfortable with the fraternity, see if it's the right fit for me. And so that's definitely going to be a benefit for the potential new member, but also a benefit for the chapter colony as well, because you now know and are confident that the potential new member knows what those expectations might be, knows what the fraternity entails, knows the principles, knows the values, everything that we want potential new members to really know and understand prior to joining the organization. And then the last is it really sets the chapter colony up for success in reaching recruitment goals. 365 recruitment allows for you all as undergraduates to set a goal and really take the entire year or 6 months or whatever that case is to achieve that goal. Similar, and I like to use a lot of sports analogies or like Division I recruiting analogies, similar to what Division I, let's say football or basketball coaches do, is they're recruiting consistently and they're going into their national signing day or those few weeks into national signing day, knowing that the relationships and the recruiting that they did the past 9 to 12 months, even longer than that, but in this case 9 to 12 months is going to pay off because they've had guys verbally commit. They've said, I'm 100% in. If once I get my letter of intent, I'm going to sign. It's the same thing here, right? If I have a goal of recruiting 20 guys in the fall semester or in the spring semester, and I'm doing 365-day recruitment, I can go into that recruitment period saying, I've talked to and have great relationships with these 10 to 15 individuals, and we've talked about them joining and what that's going to look like. And they've told me, or they've indicated that, yeah, if I were to receive a bid from Delta Upsilon, that's probably where I would accept. Or yes, I would accept my bid if you gave me that bid today or the first day you can during recruitment. right? Again, depending on what those IFC restrictions or guidelines and policies are. And so that sets the chapter up for reaching the goals instead of, we haven't really reached out to any guys. We've kind of just waited until the first day of recruitment to start, and then we're going to just hopefully meet guys and build the best relationship we can in the 5 or 6 events that we have and see what we get, right? That's not beneficial. That's not effective. That's not efficient. That's not leading or setting the colony up for success. If you do that work in relationship building ahead of time, so for example, if you're listening to this and you're a VP of recruitment, you should be, and you're done with recruitment, or you're in kind of the back stages or the final stretch of fall recruitment, your mind should go to, okay, how are we setting ourselves up for spring, knowing that we want to go recruit maybe 7 to 10 more guys, or maybe we want to go recruit 12 to 15 more guys. How do we make sure that we're capitalizing our time in the rest of September, October, and November to build those relationships, create a plan, create a names list, so that when the spring semester comes, and whether it's in person, hybrid, or virtual, we are confident that we've had those good relationships already, and we can really go into the spring confident that we have, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 10 guys who are pretty confident and interested that they're going to join Delta Upsilon. And so those are the big, I think, 5 pieces there on why it's very important to practice 365 recruitment. It's about relationship building. It's about adding to that names list. It's about really understanding and taking that time to find quality individuals. It allows for the potential new member to understand the fraternity better, and then it also better sets the chapter colony up for success in those recruitment goals. So moving forward, today we'll talk about, I think, 3 main components of 365 recruitment. The first is building a names list. So before I can even recruit anyone, I have to know who I'm recruiting in that names list. I then need to be outreaching to those guys. So what does that outreach piece look like to PNMs? Very similar to what it would look like for a 2-week fall recruitment, but it's going to look maybe a little bit different. And then the last piece is, how am I engaging and what activities am I going to be doing with these PNMs? And so how is that going to really affect and enhance our recruitment strategy through 365 recruitment, especially if we're not doing these large events that we typically do during the formal, and I air quote formal, recruitment period that you might be seeing through the IFC. So the first one is building a names list. So like I mentioned before, you all as VPs of recruitment, as chapter executive board officers, just as brothers of the fraternity, should be continuously asking every member to provide referrals as they meet guys. So who are your friends? Who are your classmates? Who are guys from high school? Who are guys from your hometown, right? Just continuously saying, who can we add to this list? Maybe they've expressed interest, maybe they haven't expressed interest. Maybe I just met him at the gym real quick, and I'll put him on the names list and I'll kind of talk to him a little bit more. But that at least gets the mindset of, I need to continuously add to this names list, because the more guys that you have that you can reach out to, the more likely that you're going to be successful in finding both the quantity of men that you have or that you want as a chapter colony, but also the quality of men. On expansion, that's something we're continuously doing. We're building that names list, and we're even building it the semester before we're doing it. And so that is a very key part of 365 when it comes to building that names list. The second piece is alumni. Alumni know a lot of people. They also may have family members who are coming to school there. They are a great asset in referrals, but they need to be asked. They need to know, who do I give the referral to? Who are you looking for? You need to jog their memory a little bit, just so they can get in the mindset of, okay, I heard somebody's going to Oregon next year. I'll definitely reach out to the VP of recruitment. I need to make sure I know who that is. So a consistent call out. I think this is a great way if you have an alumni newsletter that you send out to alumni, or you're working with your advisor to send out some alumni newsletter or email. Every email or newsletter that you send out should just have a reminder, hey, once again, we're always looking for referrals of potential DUs here at the University of Oregon. If you know anyone, please send their contact information and any other information you think is relevant to Hayden Rahn at rahn@deltau.org. It's one of those things that are just going to get the mindset. And so an alumni thinks, oh, I was talking to my neighbor and his son is going to Oregon, and I'm just going to make sure that the DUs know, and they can then take it from there to do the outreach. So that is, again, part of that 365 recruitment. How am I building that names list, and how am I just getting some of that alumni support and involvement through the referral process? And then the last piece, important to build and update names lists year round to know who the chapter colony should be talking to. So pretty self-explanatory there. I think another bullet point that I always talk to guys about is when it comes to building a names list in 365 recruitment is asking and seeing, and some groups do this already, but seeing if the IFC has any list of individuals that signed up for recruitment but didn't receive a bid or didn't accept a bid somewhere. So that's the first question that I always ask is, okay, recruitment's over. I'm now focusing on continuous 365 recruitment. So I want to continue to reach out to guys and build relationships because I want to set myself up for the future for the chapter. Quick, hey, IFC VP of recruitment, hey, director of fraternity and sorority life, do you all have a names list? Is there anywhere I can find that? Sorry about that, that cut out. If you do, great. Are you able to pass that along? If you don't, no big deal. So asking the IFC or the fraternity and sorority life office if they have a list of individuals so that you can continue to recruit. What's really good about that list a lot of the times is those guys at some level have expressed interest in fraternity. So, at some level there might be some interest there. There might be a wide variety of reasons that they didn't receive a bid, didn't accept a bid, but it's definitely another way to build that names list outside of just receiving something from the IFC or having guys show up at some event during your 2-week recruitment timeframe or whatever that looks like for your campus during the fall or spring. The next one is outreaching to potential new members. So similar to what you would do normally in recruitment, you should be sending personalized text to these guys, personalized direct messages. I never recommend sending a whole group text or chat. That's just not personal enough. You want to make sure that there's some personalization to it. And so being able to send that personalized outreach, letting them know, hey, here's where I got your information, here's who referred you, just seeing if you're interested, seeing if you want to meet up on campus, those type of pieces, just to kind of have that initial outreach piece. Be consistent with the outreach, but don't be overwhelming and really make it about building the relationship. I think one of the worst things you can do is right off the bat, just try to sell the fraternity on somebody when you outreach. It's really about getting to know the individual and kind of making that a mutual relationship building piece. Hey, I want to get to know you a little bit. I want to tell you a little bit about DU. And so it allows for that to be more about the relationship building other than, hey, it's October, hey, Brock, it's October. My name's Hayden. I'm with Delta Upsilon. Let me tell you all about the fraternity. Are you interested? Right? And so that just isn't going to be as successful as if you just come and say, hey, Brock, my name's Hayden with Delta Upsilon. Got your number from Gavin. He said you guys work out together at the gym about 2 or 3 days a week. Wanted to see if you wanted to stop on by and play some basketball at the house later, or hey, we're jumping on and playing some Call of Duty tonight, wanted to see if you were available, right? And so from there we can then build the relationship and engage in that way. It's easy, it's simple, it doesn't seem too overbearing for the PNM, and it allows for you to kind of have that initial touch point there. I think social media, and I've said this for the past couple months now, social media is going to be one of your biggest assets. So you definitely take advantage of that. This is a great way to show PNMs what the chapter and colony is doing year round. And so you can share kind of events that you're doing. In this case, if those are virtual events, or how the chapter is staying engaged. And so that allows, again, for potential new members to really see what that piece is, making sure that they're following you, that you're following potential new members. So then another just great way to outreach and kind of show off the fraternity in that way. And then the last piece is sending potential new members information throughout kind of the year, such as newsletters, chapter updates, right? And so this might not be like the first thing that you do, but let's say you've been talking to somebody for a little bit, or you've been talking to a handful of guys, and you have a newsletter going out about the chapter. And so, it would be great to send them that as well, to kind of see, hey, here's what the chapter's been up to. Just wanted to kind of update you with that as well, so you can kind of see what that looks like. Maybe there is just a general chapter update or something that's going on. So some of those P&Ms that you may have already built and kind of have that really solid relationship with, you're then able to continue to give them updates through a newsletter. Again, another way to just outreach and engage in that way as well. And then the last piece is P&M engagement and activities. And so clearly now I've outreached, I've built the names list, I've outreached to guys, I've done these things that now I have to go engage with them and I have to go do something with them. And so I've put some ideas out there. The simplest thing to say is this is just what you would do normally in an informal setting. So don't overthink it. You're out there just to build relationships. So most guys know what that looks like. It's going out for a meal, it's going to the gym, it's studying together. Maybe you're inviting a P&M to participate in an intramural sport. Hopefully those come back here sooner rather than later. Maybe it's a video game tournament. Maybe you're inviting them to participate in a philanthropy event with you. You're inviting them to service events, philanthropy events. Like, there's so many opportunities to engage with P&Ms and to kind of get them to know brothers in a very kind of informal setting that allows for you to engage in a really productive and effective manner. And so just thinking through, okay, what's the chapter doing that we can maybe engage with this guy? Just always thinking, can we invite some P&Ms out? Are there guys who aren't in the chapter that want to come play spike ball with us, that want to go to the gym with us, that want to come to study tables with us? Like, making sure that there's some of those touch points there, right? Now, I'm not saying invite P&Ms to every single thing the Brotherhood does, because that just can't happen. There needs to be some of those brothers only events. But if there's things that you all are doing on a pretty consistent basis, or you guys watch Monday Night Football together every day, or every week, or you're doing something of that sort, inviting P&Ms every so often there is a really great way. I think in the virtual world, so we're thinking specifically about this fall, inviting them to things that you're virtually doing. If you're setting up potentially, a Call of Duty or a 2K video game tournament, maybe you're inviting some guys and some P&Ms that way. Maybe if you set up, an informal poker night or a trivia night, can you invite P&Ms to that as well? So again, continuing to engage throughout the entire semester, rather than just that recruitment time frame. And I will say that that's really where the idea of this webinar came about, was knowing that a lot of chapters are finishing up recruitment, have already finished recruitment. They are looking ahead, and now more than ever, we need to kind of focus on this 365 recruitment idea, because as I've been talking with undergraduates, both undergraduates on campuses where we're going to have expansion moving forward or in the spring, such as Purdue, to undergraduates who are in chapters or colonies, or Delta Upsilon undergraduates. I hear all the time is, I just don't know if I want to join this semester. I don't know what that's going to look like. I might need some more time. And so this is a great opportunity that there might be some guys out there that maybe went through recruitment, didn't go through recruitment. They're interested in fraternity at some level, but they just need that engagement piece that's going to be really helpful and productive for you, for the chapter, throughout the entire year there. And then ultimately, the goal is to build the best relationship with the P&M, even if, recruitment's over and recruitment's not till the spring. That's not a great phrase to be using, or the greatest mindset to have. Recruitment is never over. Recruitment is a continuous process. It's something that really is going to benefit a chapter or colony that does 365 recruitment more so than this mindset of recruitment's just over. We shouldn't, I got a 2-month break, I don't have much to report. What I see all the time is VPs of recruitment, once a recruitment period is over, at an exec board meeting or a chapter meeting, say, I don't really have anything to report. Spring recruitment's coming up, but we'll talk about that in a couple months. Instead, how can I be more successful and effective in that report. Hey, we're still taking names. We're still looking for guys. If you know guys, add them to our names list. Let me know. We're still reaching out. We're still engaging with guys. We're really setting ourselves up for success moving forward in the spring. We're still meeting as a recruitment committee, creating a plan, creating a strategy, doing these things that are going to maximize and capitalize on this time rather than just not doing anything. And the groups that do actually go through with 365 recruitment or they put it into practice are groups that are consistently finding quality individuals and the number of individuals they're looking for because they're making that a focus. I'm not saying that 365 recruitment needs to be time consuming the entire time and take up all your time the entire year, but it's going to ebb and flow, but it definitely needs to be a good focus, even if this quote unquote recruitment is over, has happened, which I know is starting to happen or has happened for some of our chapters and colonies already. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to you all. So if you do have any questions, there's a chat box. You can type those in. So I'll wait for a couple minutes to see if there are any questions that come up, and then we will wrap everything up for tonight. All right, so seeing none, if you do think of any questions or you do want to talk through this a little bit more, whether you're an undergraduate, whether you are the VP of recruitment, maybe you want to be the VP of recruitment, if you're an advisor, an alumnus, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a call, shoot me a text. We'd love to talk more through this, answer any questions that you might have. Again, 365 recruitment is something that's going to benefit chapters and colonies exponentially when they put it into practice, and it's not as complicated as you might think. It just really takes the motivation and the mindset that we need to continually build our names list, outreach to PNMs, engage and have activities with potential new members, and allow for ourselves to build those relationships pretty consistently. So really appreciate it, everyone. Thank you again for spending the last 30 minutes with me. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, give me a call, or shoot me a text. But I hope you have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your week. Thanks, everyone.